to our third focus here. In what could be termed as a huge embarrassment for Pakistan, the Chinese embassy in Islamabad has announced the closure of its consular section temporarily. According to reports, rising security threats in Pakistan, namely in the wake of the Peshawar terror attack, has pushed China to take action. Meanwhile, the economic crisis continues in Pakistan with rising prices and a major drop in economic growth as the IMF refuses to clear $1 billion bailout. Remember, this comes amidst an election year where Imran Khan continues to mount pressure on the Sharif government. As reports suggest, the country does not even have enough funds for the democratic exercise. Question remains, can Pakistan survive this crisis? And some piece of breaking news coming in now, and this is the big CNN News 18 exclusive. Pakistan's Finance Minister Ishaq Dar has introduced a Finance Supplementary Bill 2023, and as per this bill, 170 billion rupees in taxes will be collected. He has said that it has been decided to implement taxes on luxury items at 25%, and farmers will be given 30 billion rupees for fertilizer. All this is, of course, the question is that will the IMF be impressed, and can Pakistan come out of this crisis? Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow of ORF, is joining us live. Kamar Chima, Strategic and Political Analyst from Islamabad. Aina Tanjin is Political Affairs Commentator from Beijing. Aina Tanjin, China is joining the list of countries such as Australia, Saudi Arabia, US and UK. All of them have announced Pakistan as unsafe and have said that their citizens are at risk. Now, Beijing has informed Islamabad that it cannot do business in a grave security situation. Chinese workers are being threatened and killed in Pakistan. The question then is, was China's infrastructure push doomed from the beginning? Aina Tanjin, if you can hear me, sir.
Yes, I can. Well, I mean, it's obviously not a project that India has supported. It has been very critical. It's been accused by Pakistan of actually fomenting activity, terrorist activity in Balochistan. Regardless, the United States also joins India. It sees this trade route as a threat. Obviously, Jammu and Kashmir are involved. So I don't know that it was necessarily a problem. The problem are internal. They have terrorist attacks. Obviously, Pakistan has suffered a huge casualty with the recent natural disaster. And, China has, for 3 years been in virtual lockdown because of the COVID-19. And at this juncture, it's going to be interesting to see how this all comes out. Obviously, security concerns are there. China has not issued any statement that they feel it unsafe in Pakistan, but they have closed one of their consulates, and it's not clear when it's going to reopen. And they have warned their people in that area of Balochistan to be careful and on high alert.
Then, Sushant Sareen, how should India be viewing this, closure of the consular section in Pakistan, the Chinese embassy closure?
Maria, I think I just take half a minute to, wade into the question which you asked, Mr. Tanjin. It was all India's fault that the Chinese, had contracts with Pakistanis in which they, charged rates which were completely uneconomic. And it's all India's fault that the Pakistanis haven't been able to pay the Chinese investments. And it's all India's fault that the Chinese don't want to invest any more money because they're already losing money. So it's all India's fault.
Yes.
And so I can
And
completely
it's
understand
India's fault
where the
that
Chinese are
Chinese
coming from.
embassy has closed consular section
Yeah,
in Pakistan.
it's all India's fault that the Chinese have closed their embassy. It's everything is India's fault. But as far as the Chinese are concerned, I think they have genuine security concerns, partly because of the sharply deteriorating security situation in Pakistan, which is also what India is doing, because we supported the Taliban. We ensured that the Taliban won in Afghanistan. We were backing the TTP along with the Afghan Taliban. The Afghan Taliban are not backing the TTP. We are backing them. We were the ones who bombed the hotel, where the Chinese were staying. So everything India is doing, nobody else is doing it. But, so maybe that will satisfy these Chinese. But there is a genuine concern and a security threat for these people, number one. But I think there is also a visible cooling off by China, as far as Pakistan is concerned.
Yes.
Partly because they feel that the Pakistanis are going to ask for more money, which is going to go down the tube. Partly because they know that their investments are turning into turkeys, and they're not going to get any return on those investments. And partly because they think that there might be a kind of a gradual shift from Pakistan, from the Chinese sphere of influence, into a much more balanced kind of a posture vis-a-vis the West. And maybe this is also signaling from the Chinese side. We can't be very sure. The Chinese have also issued a statement saying that, it's temporary, and we are continuing to hand out visas, but we just closed down a particular facility right now. The visas have not stopped.
Okay.
But I would imagine that there is some kind of signaling, some kind of subtle signaling also taking place.
Yes.
And that would spook the Pakistanis.
Yes,
certainly.
more than subtle signaling, Sushant Sareen, the IMF has said that 30% of Pakistan's total foreign debt is owed to China, which amounts to roughly $30 billion. This is 3 times more than its IMF debt and is greater than its borrowings from the World Bank and Asian Development Bank combined. That's what the reports are suggesting. Coming on this, Qamar Cheema, textile, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, all industries have come to a grinding halt. The economy is badly beaten, bruised. The question is, what is the way out? And is the leadership really looking for a way out?
Well, first on this China-Pakistan challenges, the first thing is that these CPAC projects were basically in infrastructure transformation, but we haven't utilized it the way we could have utilized. First, as the panelists were talking, the Chinese bank gave us loans at 3.7% interest rate, where such loans were being given to the France and even Japan at 1%. So the bargain we did, that was not something that should have been done. Secondly, there comes a question. Obviously, there is no transparency. We have not known what is the number of debt. I think the government says somewhere around $15 billion, where the people say $13 billion. So there are different things on that. The important part is that of the security. The government of Pakistan raised basically 2 security divisions for that special security division and maritime security force as well. But unfortunately, and there was more than 34 projects. So there was a lot of protection, but many Chinese who are not related to the CPAC projects, they were also targeted, and the people who were involved in the CPAC projects, they were all targeted. So the Chinese started enhancing pressure since Imran Khan was in power, because he disclosed some of the deals to the IMF, and that's where the trust the Chinese lost. One thing. The second time the Chinese lost the trust was that we didn't pay our part of the bargain, and that was to finance and invest in the projects which were the joint ventures and to return the money back. And then the economic situation got deteriorated because of the political uncertainty in the country. And then further polarization in the country also led to that. So the difference with the civil military leadership also is one of the challenge in all that what happened. So,
but Qamar Cheema, we know all this, but certainly Pakistan was hoping that its all-weather friend or fair weather friend, whatever you may call it, would be of some help. But if you look at the inflation, which is 26%, perhaps is all set to go up to 40% following the imposition of new taxes. And the much needed IMF bailout is also elusive because of what has been said by Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. So the larger question is that there is internal turmoil, but why should people suffer?
Well, the question is the Chinese did help. They invested the money when nobody wanted to invest. They came in Balochistan and other parts of the country. They brought a lot of money. It was not the only job of China to make CPEC successful or the BRI successful. It was Pakistan's job to pay it to do its part of the bargain. So I think we failed
Pakistan
in that.
did not do its part of the bargain. Aina Tangent?
Well, there have been delays, obviously. China has withheld money at different points of time when, in fact, these milestones have not been reached by the Pakistani side. But that's not uncommon with any project. The larger issue here is that developing countries, especially in the global south, need investment. If they don't have investment, they can't create the infrastructure necessary to create industry and therefore jobs and be independent. So, this issue everyone raises that China is a willing lender, they act as if this is some sort of conspiracy, when in fact, even India is looking for investment from abroad. Everybody's looking for it. So I don't quite understand. You cannot get out of this box without investment, but when somebody is actually willing to invest, the U.S. is not, then they're criticized for doing that. So I guess it's a no-win situation from the Indian point of view.
Okay, Sushant Sareen, are you looking at it as Mr. Aina Tangent is saying?
No, this is a typical dissemble coming from the Chinese. This is not investment. If it was investment, then there would not be the kind of loans which are outstanding on Pakistan. And to blame India for that, the insinuations are being made, is utterly bizarre. Now, the fact of the matter remains that the Pakistanis took a great leap forward. And like all great leaps forward, including the Chinese one, this one has proven to be extremely expensive for Pakistan. It's unaffordable. The kind of stuff which the Chinese have made out there, in fact, some of the projects have absolutely collapsed. They were building this hydropower plant, which they've charged the Pakistanis through their nose. And suddenly the whole damn thing has come crashing down because of poor construction.
Okay.
A number of other things have gone wrong. So CPEC, in any case, I think the economic viability of CPEC was highly questionable. The Pakistanis wanted to get those projects because they thought that this would suddenly transform the country, which it was not going to happen because ultimately those loans would have to be paid back. And for the Chinese to say that everybody wants investment, yes, countries want investment, but those investments have to be sustainable. They have to be in projects which happen to pay for themselves. They don't have to be debt trap diplomacy, which is what the Chinese are doing. They don't have to be white elephants, which a country doesn't need. But the Chinese spend that kind of money with no hopes that that money will ever be paid back because of the returns that the project brings. And Sri Lanka is a prime example. Pakistan is a prime example.
Okay.
And there are other countries around the world. So, the Chinese can keep saying what they're saying, but I think, their game is being caught out and is being found out.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Sushant Sareen, Aina Tangent and Qamar Cheema. We are slipping into a short break. Coming up next is this exclusive interview. India's Navy Chief Admiral R. Harikumar has spoken on the security paradigm in the Indian Ocean. Stay with us.
As far as